You guys are in for a show. You guys are in for a treat. There's a trivia afterwards. All right, so you guys stay tuned. Free giveaway at the end of this. I'll be triviaing you about random stuff that happens during this video, and if you're able to get it, you will be able to be in for some free hot sauce. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Joshua Wobble here with Love for More Productions on another Money Moves Monday, and today we're going to be talking about something that you guys should already know the basics about, that I kind of learned the fundamentals of in school, but kind of also not really. So today we're going to be talking about voting and what that means. Today we have a good friend of mine, Tate.
Hello everyone. It's nice to be here with Josh on Money Moves Monday.
Alright, so we're going to jump right into this. And I asked my friend Tate because I remember when we worked in the restaurants, he's one of my sous chefs there, and he came in with, on his day off to pick up something, and he came in with the I vote sticker, and he voted, and I'm like, huh, did I vote this year? We want to talk about that because I'm sure everyone in the kitchen that was with me that day did not go vote, and I think it's very important to vote as I become more politically aware, and I'm here to ask Tate some questions about it. So Tate, why is voting important?
Well, I think the basic fundamentals is that it's your vote is your voice, right? A lot of people that don't vote still try to express opinions, but if you're not voting and being involved in the political system, the elites are just going to get what they want, and that's more power and more money directly to the top 1%.
Yeah, I agree. So, like, in this day and age, would you say the gap between the 1%, that's being the millionaires and the billionaires, and, like, the poor middle class, has that gap increased?
It's been increasing. Since Reagan, the gap between the middle class and the top 1% has continuously grown, while the middle class has continued to struggle and continued to shrink. I think the best example is looking through the pandemic, when there's millions that have been laid off, millions that are now without health insurance, and millions that feel powerless and unsure of their next day. And then you look on the flip side, there's roughly a handful of billionaires who've gained over $500 billion in net worth in the past 3 or 4 months, which really just highlights that we have an oligarchy and not a true democracy anymore.
Awesome. Can you go a little bit into what an oligarchy is?
Yeah, at the basis, an oligarchy is the control of the government goes to a handful of very rich and powerful elites. So if you think of people like Jeff Bezos, who are able to hire lobbyists and push those lobbyists to go to congressmen that they've also donated large sums of money to, you're going to get bills and laws that are written to benefit the top 1%.
And side note on Jeff Bezos, he's one of the richest men in the world right now.
He's most likely the first trillionaire.
Someone broke it down to me in numbers that if you went back to when the world was first created, year zero, and you made $180,000 a day, $180,000 a day, that's more than all of you make a year, in 2 years, 3 years maybe. If you make that a day until now, 2020, Jeff Bezos would still be richer than you. Just try to wrap your head around that. Like, there's people out there that have that kind of money, and then there's also people out there that are just living homeless in the streets or in projects or, like, in one-bedroom apartments with 4 people. All right, so you could break down real quick and real simple the voting process.
Of course. Well, a lot of states do it differently. Minnesota is same-day registration, which means if you go to the voting booth, you're able to register to vote there and vote at the same day. Some states require you to have registered weeks or months ahead of time. Places like that generally are trying to restrict who can vote by creating barriers on people from voting. So we're lucky to be in Minnesota. Of course, there's a pandemic right now, so voting is shifting to mail-in ballots, which the Republican Party seems to not want to happen. But Minnesota has mail-in ballot. It's easy. You can just Google mail-in ballot, register, and you get the opportunity to register to vote and receive your mail-in ballot for your primaries and your general elections.
So just touch base back what you said earlier. You said that the Republican Party is against mail-in ballots. Why would that be?
Well, the theory that they have is if you look at, say, states like Kentucky, right? You saw Louisville with 500,000 people that registered to vote, were ready to go vote. They restricted their voting or their actual booths, voting booths, physical booths, to roughly 6. So you saw lines that were miles long of people trying to vote. Now, if you take mail-in ballots, all those people would be able to just get a ballot at home, have it in the mail by the election day, postmarked by the election day, and their vote would count. What the Republicans have not only said in their own focus groups, but have said out loud on television and on Twitter, is that if you give those people the ability to vote, the large number will vote for the Democrats, because those are generally the ones that are having their votes restricted, especially in large minority and poor neighborhoods throughout the country.
So voter suppression is really a real thing.
It is absolutely 100% a real thing. The Supreme Court struck down provisions of the Voting Rights Act. I believe it was 7 years ago. And since then, you've seen in very high Republican-held states that have lots of large minority populations, their voting booth every single election, whether it's midterm or general, has continued to shrink by large volumes.
Awesome. I see. And I heard there's some states that recently turned blue just because they were open to mail-in ballots.
If you look at the battleground states right now, like Michigan, Ohio, even Texas, which has been a red state for the past few decades, they're all turning purple. Joe Biden is currently leading roughly 10 points in most of those states simply by staying in his basement.
Yeah. It's an interesting time where you think of the two people who are going head to head and leading like the strongest country in the world standing, like, is Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Like, what are your thoughts on the two individuals? Like, do you feel like you're just voting for Biden because he's lesser of two evils? Or, like, I know campaigning is extremely expensive, and of course we're going to see anti-Biden ads from Trump, anti-everything ads from Trump, but, like, what can we see by voting for Biden?
Well, I think this is an interesting question, because Joe Biden and his team have put out statements saying that they're going to be the next FDR administration, right? They're going to be the new progressive administration. Joe Biden has been in D.C. for 50 years. He's never been a progressive. He's never done anything that has been considered a progressive value. He's had the crime bill in '94. He voted for the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's continued to stand by all of his past stances. He does not support defunding the police. Mm-hmm. It's every time there's an issue, it seems he's on the wrong side of the track. But because he believes in neoliberal policies, he continues to be backed by the mainstream establishment. But then you have Donald Trump, and it goes, well, who are you going to pick? You know, you got to pick the lesser of two evils.
So if you guys take a look at the link down below in the About the Video section, you will see a link to how to register to vote. You can register right here online without even leaving your computer. You can actually just go click on it and go register. Shut your mouth, you dang dog. Alright, this is my dog Dolce. He's here to join us. His name's Dolce. D-U-L-C-E. D-O-L-C-E. My bad. Alright. So there's a lot of information on the web, and it's kind of like easy to let all the fake news, you know, like Fox News, all that, get into your brain and kind of absorb the false information out there. So where is a good place to go and do some research?
Media is very important.
Yeah.
Most millennials don't have access to your traditional cable news, so it's not like we're watching Fox or CNN or MSNBC. Most millennials don't actually pay attention to the news because it's usually depressing.
Yeah.
Personally, I like to follow it's a YouTube channel called The Hill Rising. It's a progressive pundit and a conservative pundit on the new right, and they discuss topics. They have an hour-long show every day. I follow that. The Hill is a moderate bipartisan group that has their news station based in D.C. If you're interested in seeing pretty much a hodgepodge of news articles, you can go to Real Clear Politics, and they have articles written by both sides from many different sites, just so you can kind of get an idea of what both sides are talking about. Because no matter how you feel about the opposite side, it's still important to hear their opinions and their perspectives, because at the end of the day, it's still one country.
That's a good point you made there. It's good to hear the other side's story. And I think that goes and ties a lot with this whole the Black Lives Matter movement as well. You know, if you're out there protesting for Black Lives Matter and or protesting against it, even like if you don't know the other side's story, then I don't think you have a full understanding of what you're actually protesting for or against. So I think that would bring a lot of peace in the world if we just listen to each other's stories and understood why people feel the way they do or why people see the world the way they do. So thanks for those references, Tate. I'll link those down below as well in the About Me section of this video. In regards to the Trump rally in Tulsa on Juneteenth, I remember there being a line of Trump supporters out there for like 3 or 5 days camping, and that's just showing the dedication that these supporters have. And you don't see that on Biden's campaign or on his half.
I would say that fervent support from Trump supporters is something really important to cover. Because I see a lot of people, I'm obviously friends with a lot of liberals, millennials, growing up in kitchens, that's really the main group. Mm-hmm. But you see a lot of these people that say, well, I can't stand, or I don't have time. If you're a Trump supporter, I'm just going to block you, I'm going to delete you. If you're a Republican, just unfriend me. I think those are really dangerous perspectives because, look, I'm a white male. I grew up in a town of 13,000. It's very conservative. And I think if you look at Donald Trump as the problem, you are not looking at it correctly. Donald Trump isn't the problem. He's a result of the problem. And the problem is establishment politics. You know, you see the way in 2016 Bernie Sanders kind of came out of nowhere and went up against Hillary Clinton. The establishment everyone knew was supposed to be the president. And he said, look, we have serious problems in this country. And the DG didn't listen. And because of that, someone like Donald Trump was able to win. Donald Trump supporters supported him because he spoke differently.
China.
He had different ideas. He would talk to them in ways that they enjoyed because no other politician was talking to.
China.
So people that look at Trump and his supporters as the problem, they're just fueling fire. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's not Republican versus Democrat. It's the poor and middle class versus the wealthy and elite. Because unless we do that, the oligarchy wins, establishment status quo wins.
No, I think that's a very valid point, because when you group a bunch of people together that have the same ideals and same morals, there's strength in numbers, and that's where your voice collectively becomes heard. I mean, look at the progress that was made with the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, if it was just one person petitioning in the street, what's the difference it would make? You know, but when they collectively came together for a unified purpose and they spoke out together, it was heard, and the changes is happening. And that's where it needs to continue to happen. It needs to continue with you finding your voice to speak out and to get your friends out there to vote. Google your state when the primary elections are for your state, and make sure you are registered. Again, all the links for this will be below, so make sure you register to vote, you Google when your primaries are, and you meet the deadlines. If you do these things, shoot me a DM and I'll send you a free bottle of hot sauce. Baby Daddy's hot sauce. All you gotta do is pay for shipping. Tate, thanks for coming out here and joining us and to shed light on us and spread your wisdom and your knowledge about the topics.
Don't be cynical. Your vote matters. Every single election, you have a chance to use your vote and express your voice. Do it. Because the baby boomers are always voting every 2 years. We need to vote too. Otherwise, it's going to be the same exact thing. And Josh, thank you for having me on Money Moves Monday. It was great getting to see you and your dogs. I hope we get to do this again real soon.
All right. Thanks again, Tate. And for you guys watching, thanks for staying tuned to the end. Stay tuned after the credits, and we'll do a little trivia. And DM me the answers, and we'll send you a bottle of hot sauce. Thank you for tuning in. Stay happy, stay hungry, feed your soul, feed your mind, love food more. Peace.